degrees. So remember when we were doing the unit circle, right? So the unit circle with a radius of 1. There are coordinates, right? So if that's 0 degrees, that's 90 degrees, 180, 270, and then 360, right? Cool. You also have the radian equivalents of those, right? So that would be 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi, right? So you need to know that. I'm going to include a unit circle for you, okay? So you don't have to memorize any of that stuff, right? However, the unit circle doesn't include 105, right? So 105 is going to be over here, and there's no value there for 105 because it jumped from 90 to 120, right? So it goes to 120. Actually, I shouldn't write that there. So 120, and then there's 135, and then so on. It skips 105, right? So here's what we do for sum and difference formulas. There's a formula, I'll write it over here. Sine of alpha plus beta. So these are just variables. Alpha plus beta. Alpha and beta are variables. Okay? The sine of alpha plus beta is equal to sine alpha cosine beta plus cosine alpha sine beta. That's a beta. Yeah. Okay? That's the equation. Again, you will not have to memorize that. I'm just pulling that from page 459. The only reason why I have that memorized is, I'm a nerd. Okay. Stop. Stop what? It hurts you what?
No one laughs at me.
It hurts when no one laughs at my jokes?
Yeah.
Okay.
What layer of
So,
insult is that?
105 is not on the unit circle. But can we create 105 by adding or subtracting two angles that are on the unit circle?
If you try really hard, you believe in yourself.
Yeah? What do you see? Yep, I'm seeing 60 and 45. These are on the unit circle, right? 60 plus 45 equals 105. So this problem is the same thing as saying this. The sine of 60 plus 45. Does that make sense? So now alpha is 60 and beta is 45. So when we find the exact value, we're just going to replace alpha and beta with 60 and 45. So this will be the sine of 60 cosine of 45 plus cosine of 60 sine of 45. Does that make sense? I'm just using the formula that I'm going to provide for you guys. Then we can look at the unit circle. So on the unit circle,
Is it going to have the coordinates there?
yep, the unit circle will have the coordinates, so you don't have to memorize any of that. This is square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. So what we're going to do is the sine of 60. The sine of 60, right, is the y value, so it's the square root of 3 over 2. So that's something that you have to know. You have to know how to use a unit circle. Right? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So the sine is going to be the y value. So sine of 60 is the square root of 3 over 2. The cosine of 45, that's the x value. So I go over here, and that's the square root of 2 over 2. Plus the cosine of 60, x value, 1/2. And the sine of 45, right, the y value, square root of 2 over 2. Follow that? Just pulling that from the unit circle. Then we multiply square root of 6 over 2 plus square root of 2 over 2. I'm sorry, 4's. My bad, you guys. So square root of 6 over 4 and square root of 2 over 4. That's good for me.
Can we leave it in degrees or do you have to put that in degrees?
If it's in degrees, you can leave it in degrees. If it's in radians, then it's up to you if you want to convert to degrees. I haven't decided yet. All right. So we get a couple like that, right? That use that principle. So if you look, number 14. Number 14 gives it to you in this form, right? And then you have to work your way backwards. So number 14 is Actually, I'm going to do number 13 because it's addition still. 13 says sine of 20 degrees, cosine of 10 degrees, plus cosine 20, sine 10. So that is basically the sine of 30 degrees. That make sense?
Huh.
So you work your way the other way. So it's easier, I think. Got it? Last question.
So you can run the time. That'd be hard.
So something like number 23, 24, 25, like those types of problems, there'll be one like that. So I'm going to start that one for you guys. So what they do
only
is
did
they
that for
give
2
you
weeks.
some
I don't do
values.
that anymore.
Can I erase? It's cool.
600 push-ups a day.
Whoa. Is it after?
There's a,
Ivan, is that
because
too?
it's
New thing?
Bonanzas, all the teachers are meeting to like discuss. So I don't know if there'll be any teachers in the tutoring room after school.
We can't simplify this. We can't do square root of 6 plus square root of 2
Okay.
over 4. That doesn't work.
You can put
No, I
both
don't think
of
that
them,
works.
But it'd still be 6 square root of 6 plus square root of 2 over 4.
If sine of alpha equals 3 over 5,
That's fish.
and let's say cosine of beta is equal to 12 over 13. Okay? Yep. If I ask for, let's say it's cosine, what can I ask for? Let's do cosine of alpha plus beta. If I want the cosine of alpha plus beta, right? So you would need the formula for that. It's cosine, cosine, sine, sine minus, minus. Cosine alpha, cosine beta minus sine alpha, sine beta. Yes, I heard mine. Yeah.
What number is
This is number 23.
Is that going to be provided too?
What's that?
The formula?
Yeah, all the formulas from 7.2 will be included. Okay? So you have this. If I want cosine of alpha plus beta, what am I missing? I have sine of alpha, right?
Sine of beta.
And I have cosine of beta. I'm missing cosine alpha and I'm missing sine of beta. Does that make sense? But with this information, I can get that. Here's how. We make a triangle, right?
No.
And we say that's
Mistake
alpha.
number 1.
Sine is 3 over 5, so opposite over hypotenuse. Can we find the adjacent side? Using Pythagorean theorem, we find that this is a 4. It's a 3, 4, 5 triangle, that's why I was able to do that, okay? Over here, right, you do the same thing, right? For beta, cosine, so 12 over 13, adjacent over hypotenuse. So this side is 5. Right? Again, Pythagorean theorem. Sorry, I'm just doing it. So now we're able to get all the other values, right? So cosine of alpha, we go to the alpha triangle. Cosine of alpha is 4 over 5. So you get 4 over 5. Cosine of beta, we already know, 12 over 13. Minus sine of alpha, we already know, 3 over 5. Then sine of beta, we go to the beta triangle. Sine is 5 over 13. Right? Work that out. You get 48 over 65 minus 15 over 65. What does that give us? 33 over 65. And I believe that does not reduce. So that's your answer. Okay?
that 5 over 13 or 5 over?
That's a 5 over 13. Right there. So you guys, that is pretty much what the test will look like. You'll get a couple identities. You'll get a couple that you have to use sine, the sum and difference formulas. And then you'll get one like this where you have to generate the triangles to complete it. Okay? I plan on being here next Monday after school for like a more extensive review for those of you that want to come after school. What's that? I think the I think the test is going to be all together on Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like everyone's going to take it on a Tuesday, like just in the common like 1 week thing. Because